One of my favorite things in the world to do is watch Friends. I know it's been off for years and years. It's not even around, but I still find myself binge watching old episodes. And I was thinking about this today and thinking, it's the predictability of the friends in the circle, right? You have Chandler with his quirkiness, Monica with her type A of just everything has to be so neat and tidy and organized. It's Phoebe's ability to make you laugh at her silly songs. Ross always comes in with those smart comments, and Joey and him and his food, like it is just so hilarious. And of course, Rachel, she just brings everybody together, and it's just such this beautiful, cohesive team of people. And it's why I wanted to come on and share with you today that I have an opportunity for you to find your friends in the content creation space. So if you are thinking about creating your first or your next digital course, I don't want you to miss this opportunity because Amy Porterfield just opened the doors for registration for her Course Confident Bootcamp. And I'm actually offering a special bonus for anyone that registers for the Course Confident Bootcamp through my special link. So I want you to go to crystalprofit.com/Amy-bootcamp to register. That's crystalprofit.com/Amy-bootcamp. And what you're going to find when you get there is I have this special bonus private podcast series. It's called Money Mindset for Creators. So I want you to go register for Amy's bootcamp, download the podcast, and immediately start listening to it, because what this training is set up to do is to help you get your mind right about monetizing your content, making money so that you can fuel your content creation dreams. So go to crystalprofit.com/Amy-bootcamp to register for Course Confident. And I cannot wait for you to find your friends and find the people that will be there for you. Do you see what I did there? Yeah, nice little friends segue connection. Go to crystalprofit.com/Amy-bootcamp. And I cannot wait to see you inside. Okay, let's get into today's episode. Artificial intelligence has been a hot topic. Oh my goodness. Like, it has been one of those things that everybody is talking about. Everyone has an opinion, and everyone just wants to know, how are you using it? This is the question. I had 3 separate conversations in the last 24 hours about ChatGPT, about using AI in your content, and what it looks like for content creators. So I thought I would join this conversation, as I've really been sitting back and watching and observing. If you listen to the podcast regularly, then you heard Craig and I talk about ChatGPT several episodes ago. And since then, there are some updates to how I have been using it in my content, and a brand new feature from Buzzsprout that is freaking blowing my mind. And I cannot wait to dive more into it because it is a game changer. So let's get right to it. Welcome to the Profit Podcast, where we teach you how to start, launch, and market your content with confidence. I'm your host, Crystal Profit, and I'm so excited that you're here. Thanks for hanging out with me today, because if you've been trying to figure out the world of content creation, this is the show that will help be your time-saving shortcut. So let's get right to it, shall we? So as of me recording today's episode, I'm doing some batching, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to include this because it's super relevant. And so I put out a poll today on my Instagram, and it just says, Sunday morning question for you. And it says, how do you feel about using AI to help you create? And of course, I'm talking about creating your content, creating your podcast, creating blog posts, doing your website. Like, there's so many different ways that you can interpret the word create. And the choices were, 1, it's amazing. I use it all the time. 2, I'm playing with it, but how is it not plagiarism? The third option was, nope, not for me. And the fourth option is, I have no idea how to get started with it. And it's funny because no one said, nope, not for me. Of course, it's still a little early in the day. I only posted this poll about 6 hours ago, but I'm looking at the results and it's really in between. It's amazing. I use it all the time and I'm playing with it, but how is it not plagiarism? These are really where the two camps, which it's kind of what I figured. And maybe by the end of the poll, like I'll have a more definitive answer where the majority of my Instagram audience lies. But I really think that it's right around that, like, oh my gosh, I love it. I adopted it early and I'm embracing it and it's helping me do all my things. Or it's like, I'm playing around with it, but I don't feel great about this. Like, I feel like, where does this information come from? I was actually talking to my friend Anna and we were going back and forth on how, she's had a few people on her team, like look at it and see, ways that they could use it. And she knows a few creators that are doing it. And we're just talking about like, where does the actual information come from? Like you type something in to ChatGPT and then it spits all this back at you, but where is the original source? And I think so much of it is because we are used to like an apples and orange comparison of like what you can do on Google. So you can type in how to start a podcast and you get all of the list, all the results. You get pages and pages, thousands of options of how to start a podcast. And then it could be a blog post. It could be a checklist. It could be some like paid ads. It could be a YouTube video. It could be, TikTok or Facebook video. Like there's so many different options. Whereas with ChatGPT, you type it in, you get an answer. And then you're like, but is this the best answer? So those are the two camps I find people are like, oh, it's so great. I've been using it. It's fantastic. And other people are like, I don't really know. So it's totally fine wherever you find yourself. I still think it's super early in this journey anyway to say like, oh, I'm dead set. I'm absolutely going to use it in this way. I have been very open to finding tools that use AI that I already use in my process already. So here's a great example. I think Calendly, which, you can call it, and you're like, Crystal, that's not really AI. To me, it is a tool that I implemented really early in the beginning of my journey with podcasting that is an automation tool, right? So it's not AI, it's automation. And the reason why I love it and I'm happy to pay for it every single month is because it makes my life easier. So when I'm looking at AI, I don't look at it as, oh, I want to find things that make my life more complicated. I'm like, where can I find something to make my life easier? And I have to tell you, I have found it. And I cannot wait to share more about it because Buzzsprout, you've heard me, I've talked about Buzzsprout a bajillion times on all of my content, YouTube video, podcast, email, like I talk about it everywhere. I've used them since 2018. I have seen their tool grow, develop, become better. I have done so many beta tests with the different things that they've done. This one is, and I thought dynamic content was a game changer. Okay, dynamic content was incredible. I still remember when I got to play around with dynamic content for the first time and I was like, oh my gosh, this is what we have been missing. But this may be just a step above that. I know, I'm hearing myself say that. I'm like, ooh, that's like, don't write a check your butt can't cash. Is that the right way? I've been saying some really dumb analogies lately. And I'm like, as it's coming out of my mouth, I'm like, is that how my grandma or my grandpa used to say it? I don't really remember. Anyway, I digress. That's not important. What is important is what Buzzsprout is doing with Cohost AI is incredible. So this is this new tool. I got a ping and we have our own little, I'm a Buzzsprout creator. And so we have our little Basecamp group where we're all chatting and we share, information behind the scenes and we get some exclusive things. Like we get to know about things before the public does and we get to be beta testers. I about fell over in my chair the first time I tried Cohost AI. It was so incredible. And I felt like I I wanted to scream because I couldn't share it with you immediately. So it's one of the reasons why I haven't said anything is because I was asked like, okay, like when we do these beta test things behind the scenes, it's like you can't share it. Like it's part of the agreement. It's like, we'll give you access, but you can't share it with the general public yet until it's ready. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we have to tell everybody about this. Like I just could not help. I was playing with it. I was uploading episodes for the Potty Report, my daily show. I was doing stuff for the Profit Podcast. And I was like, oh my gosh, it does this, it does this, it is, it is so incredible. So I've been using it for a while and it's amazing. Like it is as amazing as like, I still have that energy that I had at the beginning and it is so incredible. So let's just break it down. Like, well, what is it, Crystal? You're, making it such a big deal. Like, what is it? So Cohost AI, I'm actually just going to read exactly what Buzzsprout says. So I'm going to link to, they have a blog post on their website and I'm going to, tell you what it is. But it's an AI tool that will give you the ability to use AI to build out the details of your episodes. We've built Cohost AI into Buzzsprout to make your upload process easier and more streamlined, allowing you to focus more on your episode content. Now, this is where, when we go back to what we were talking about earlier, that Instagram poll, where some of you are like, how is it not plagiarism when you use AI? Like if you go to ChatGPT or you use some other tool to help you create, like, oh, that makes me a little uncomfortable. With this, what is so stinking cool about this tool is you are starting with your audio file. Okay. So imagine you've done whatever you do, whether you use some other kind of AI tool to create your content. I want you to think about once you have that finished audio file, however you created it, whether it's an interview or a solo episode, you have a finished file ready to go. You're going to go upload it into Buzzsprout. And when you do that now, the process, if you have Cohost AI enabled, it processes that and it will take a little bit longer. It does take, I will say that it's added some lead time on how long it takes to just upload an episode, where previously it was like upload audio file, boom, it's ready, put your title in, do the things like, okay, you have an episode ready to go. This one takes a little bit longer simply because it's processing and doing this. So I'm so excited. Can you tell? I'm like, I can't even get the words out because I'm so excited. It takes a little bit longer, but that's because it's doing its job. It is processing your data. It is reading your audio file and it's going to spit out so many cool things. So while your episode is processing, Cohost AI will be handling the details. Just like any great co-host, Cohost AI will give you some episode title ideas, draft an episode description, define chapters, and transcribe your episode. Once it is done, you will see all this information in your episode to review and adjust. So again, let me recap those one more time. Episode titles. So many of you tell me like, I don't know how to title this episode. Where do I get these ideas? It will spit out several options for you to choose from. I think it's up to 5. Let me see. Yeah, 5 different options. So if you're like, I don't do really well with titles, I just kind of throw something out there, it gives you 5 and you don't have to use any of these. But for me, what I have found is the first one's usually pretty spot on. I'm like, ooh, that's good. And it's already optimized for the SEO keywords that I was going to use. So that's fantastic. And then sometimes the second or third options are just as good, but maybe I need to tweak like 1 or 2 words. Like maybe the main idea is out of order and I want to put it at the front, or I want to put something at the end of it, but all of the options are better than nothing. Okay. Like, let me throw that out there. If copywriting is not your strong suit and you struggle with titling your episodes, this can help you so much. So episode titles and then episode descriptions. I know many of you really don't like to write these. I don't like to write these most of the time. And I will struggle at times to say, gosh, how do I say this, but don't give all the juicy details away, but give enough of a hook that it wants people to listen. These have been like 95% of what it spits out, I use. I will tell you that much. But again, what's cool is it's using my audio. It's using my audio. That's where it came up with the ideas. It's not going out to the internet and grabbing a whole bunch of stuff. It is using my audio file to create what the episode description is. So sometimes it is quoting me in the episode description. Like it will start off with like a question that I ask probably within the first 5 minutes. Like it grabs that question and plops it right into the episode description. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot I even said that. And it sounds really good. And the grammar's great and the punctuation is there. I do still have to tweak because, of course, my name is Crystal Proffitt, Crystal with a K, Profit with Proffitt. Like it's never getting that right, but that's okay. I don't mind changing it. That's what I'm saying. It gets me like 95% of the way there. Whereas it used to take me probably 15 or 20 minutes to come up with the title, write a description, and do all those things. Like it's taking me seconds now. Seconds to do something that used to take me 15 or 20 minutes. I'm giving you the gift of time by telling you about this feature. Okay, but that's titles, descriptions. It will also do chapters. So it will define chapters for your episode. So if you have never seen this, I actually have a YouTube video that I did a while back about chapters within Buzzsprout that you can go check out. But basically, if you've ever watched YouTube videos that have chapters, it's the same thing. Buzzsprout has this feature. And to be really honest, I haven't been doing it because I don't really care that much about chapters. I don't look at chapters. Let me just throw this out there. I don't look at chapters or listen to, quote, chapters when I'm listening to a podcast. When I listen to a podcast, like I'm committed. If I started, there's like a 95% chance that I'm going to finish a podcast episode as soon as I start it. I really do. That's my listening habit. I will listen to a full episode. But with the chapters, it's cool if you have things that you want people, like let's say you have a 2-hour episode and people are like, I really just want like the nuts and bolts of what's going on, or I just want to hear when they're actually interviewing the person or whatever. Like there's multiple reasons to have chapters, but that's super cool that it automatically does chapters within your episode. And then the last one is it transcribes your episode. I know so many of you are using Rev or Otter or Descript to use transcripts, and y'all have told me, you're like, it's just another tool. Like I'm adding more and more tools to my toolkit and it's getting expensive. I have to go here for this and there for that. Well, if you have Buzzsprout and you add on Magic Mastering and now you add on Cohost AI, you may not need some of that other stuff. You may be able to get rid of one of those subscriptions or one of those yearly or monthly costs. So again, it's incredible. I'm so stoked about this. But here's, again, how it works. So I'm going to break down. I'm still just looking at Buzzsprout's article here, and I'm going to link to it so you can go check it out with the screenshots. But it says using Cohost AI on your episodes is really simple. Go to episodes, and then you're going to go into Cohost AI and enable it on your account. Then you will see it working on new episodes automatically. Now, let me go back real fast because this is important. I've had people ask me, well, does it go back and retroactively work on previous episodes? It does not. It does not. Unless you upload a brand new audio file after you've enabled it, it's not going to work. It's only going to work on like today forward. So I do want to like preface it with that, which is fine. You don't need to go back and retroactively do a whole bunch of stuff. Just do it from today moving forward and it will be great. Okay, let's just keep going. When the episode is processed, you will see your Cohost AI summary on your episode details page. Now, that page will break down all the information that Cohost AI provided to you, and you can review it and decide if you want to use it, adjust it, or remove it. Now, what I like is, and I'm going to make some YouTube videos about this, so don't you worry, they are coming. But when I think about
being a woman in business comes with its own unique set of challenges, but also so many opportunities. We get ahead by leaning in to what makes us different from business as usual. I'm Samantha Hartley, host of Profitable Joyful Consulting, inviting you to a special 6-episode series exploring the experience of being a woman in business. You want to hear from women consultants who've hit $1 million, who sell 6-figure engagements, or who've broken their own revenue ceilings? Yeah, those are my clients, and they'll be sharing too. Join me for 6 must-listen episodes that tackle key challenges for women consultants.
Follow Profitable Joyful Consulting on your favorite podcast app.
really looking at and reviewing what it's created for me, it gives me a bigger picture too on how I'm recording my content. Now, stay with me here for a second, because again, what it's doing is it's ingesting my audio file and creating content from that file. So it's transcribing it, then it's creating the chapters, then it's doing the description, and then it's doing the episode titles. I don't know if that's the technical order that things are happening, but that's how I imagine it's working. It's starting with the audio, then the transcript, then the chapters, then the description, then the titles. So it's kind of like the reverse order of piecing everything together. And when you do this and you upload your file and you go into an episode that has Cohost AI enabled, it will give you a snapshot of what it did. Now, I went and changed things. So for example, I'm looking at right now, we had Kathy's recent episode where she had her listener submitted questions. It was all about the podcast evolution, exploring new topics and keeping it fresh. Like that is the title of her episode. And on this page, I'm looking at my Buzzsprout account, there's a tab that says Cohost AI Summary. And when I go in there, it shows me exactly what Cohost AI created. Not what I kept, because there's some things that I changed, but it shows what it created. And now I can look at this and see, okay, this is what it believes, it being the AI, it believes are the most important pieces of my content. So now when I go to record in the future, if I want things to sound a little different whenever it's finished, like on this end of it, when it gets to the description, then maybe I need to say it a little bit differently whenever I'm recording an episode. Of course, this is me just being super meta and like looking at podcast stuff about podcasting while I'm podcasting. I know, I get it. I'm super nerd over here thinking about all these things, but it just gets me really excited because you can also go directly into the transcript once it's processed and edit it right in there. So again, if my name is misspelled, so for example, Kathy's name is spelled with a C and it defaulted to her name starting with a K. So I went in, I changed it in the description, and I went through and, made sure that it was updated. I made sure that I mentioned the Profit Podcast community. So I had to make sure that had 2 F's and 2 T's. The thing that I really want to hit home with this is that 95% of my work that used to take minutes is now done in seconds. Like I'm going to keep saying it over and over and over again because this is how I want you thinking about AI. Not, well, what can I do to be a lazier creator and just have it all done for me? Because this is what I'm seeing. This is the majority of what I'm seeing online. It's like, oh, do this thing one time and then you'll spit out like 75 blog posts for you and then you don't have to do anything. You can post it to your website, get lots of SEO, and you can sit back and collect your $1 million checks. I am not joking. Like it's not far off from what I'm seeing out there. It's absolutely ridiculous, the promises that people are making about AI. And I think it's very irresponsible and dangerous. It's reckless, really, to treat it that way. It's kind of like cheating on an exam. That's how I think about it, is if you are creating content with someone else's ideas, then how are you a credible person to be delivering that, to be teaching it, to be saying like, this is my thing, like I'm an expert in this thing, and all you did was Google stuff. It's like you're Googling things while you're telling somebody, oh yeah, sure, I'm an expert in underwater basket weaving, and you're also Googling, how does underwater basket weaving work? That's what it feels like. And I think it's shady. I don't think that that's how we should think about AI. I think we should think about it as this assistant that is helping you increase the things that you're already doing really, really well. It's helping you grow. It's helping you get better. It's helping you optimize the things that you are already doing so well. And it's taking it to the next level. It's expanding on what you already do, and it's helping you streamline processes. It's a tool. It is a tool. It should not be a replacement of you creating genuine ideas or brainstorming ideas that can help your community, or And like the biggest, like I almost feel like I shouldn't have to say this, but I'm going to. You shouldn't take other people's ideas. Like, do I need to say that? I feel like I need to say that. And it makes me feel like a kindergarten teacher. Like, okay, class, like treat others the way you want to be treated. But if I knew that there were bots out there just crawling my website and taking everything that I worked really hard to create, you know, some of it I spent years creating blog posts and show notes and podcast episodes and YouTube videos. And if it's just reading all of that and then spitting it back out to someone else for them to copy it and paste it and put it on their website, and then they get all this credit for it, like that just, it's a deep cut. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't like it at all. And I hope that that's not how people in this community are using it either. But I do think it's something that we need to adopt, and it's something that we need to figure out how it's going to work in your workflow. And the thing that I keep going back to is it's a creative assistant. That is exactly what it is. It helped me build the most recent, if you go to crystalprofit.com/course, this is my sales page for profit podcasting. I was talking about it, like we did the recent relaunch of the whole program, and I've been talking about it a lot. And I used AI to help me build that web page. I was doing a lot of coding, and I mean, okay, let's be really honest. I don't know HTML like the back of my hand, and I barely know CSS. Like I know enough to be dangerous. So anybody that's listening that's got a design background, you're like, ugh, Crystal, you barely even said those letters in the right order. I know. Like this is how dangerous I am with doing that kind of technical stuff. But that's what I'm doing. I'm like, you know what? This is what I want to build. I can see the vision in my head of what I'm trying to create. And instead of spending hours on YouTube or Googling so many things and reading help articles and doing this, I am just asking my creative assistant, which is ChatGPT at this moment. And I say, how do I create HTML to build a slider? There's a slider on my webpage that I was so proud of. It doesn't really do anything super fancy, but I wanted to build it just to say that I did. So you can go check out the slider on my page that has the Prep'em method on there. But I wanted to build this thing, and it spit out something to me that was the HTML version. And then I was like, that's not exactly what I want. So I asked it, like, make it wider, make it have more points in it, because it only had a beginning and a middle and an end. And I needed 5. I needed 5 different points where I could insert text. So I started playing with it and saying, okay, now I want this. Now I want to change the font size. Now I want to change the color. And it kept giving me, it was getting smarter and smarter and smarter. And I think that that is the point of this entire episode is, how can we use AI and these types of tools to help us create better content? How can we help it get smarter and help it learn our voice and how we are creating content to help our people? And I'm just super excited about it. I mean, obviously you can tell. You can tell. I'm excited. Now, let me get into the nitty-gritty before we completely close out this episode, because I know some of y'all are like, that sounds great, Crystal, but is this a paid feature for Buzzsprout, for Cohost AI? Is it going to cost me millions of dollars? Like, how much is it actually going to cost? So as of me recording this, I'm reading this directly from Buzzsprout's website. It says, how much is Cohost AI? It says, this is an adoptional. I threw a whole bunch of words together. It is an optional add-on for any paid plan in Buzzsprout. So you will pay an additional monthly fee relative to your Buzzsprout subscription, which will allow you to process all of your future episodes through Cohost AI. So if you have the 3-hour Buzzsprout subscription, it'll be $10 a month. If you have the 6-hour plan, it will be $20 a month. And if you have the 12-hour plan, it is an additional $30 per month. So super cool. Super, super cool. And it says Buzzsprout is partnering with Podium to generate your episode details using AI. So they are using a third-party integration to make all of this work. And instead of you paying Otter or Descript or any of these other programs, think about consolidating some of these things down into one subscription. So you're not paying for multiple things and you have everything in one place. And If it's going to make your life easier, I am all for it. Again, anything that streamlines my processes and makes everything one place, like super simple, I'm here for it. And the interface doesn't change. I think this is one thing about Buzzsprout they do really well too, is everything's very clean. Even they're adding these new features and it's not cluttering up the experience. It's very seamless and it's super cool. So again, going to be having some super fun YouTube videos coming out about this. So stay tuned for those. But that's all I have for you today. If you have not checked out Buzzsprout, if you're not a Buzzsprout user, I am a partner. I'm an affiliate for them. You can go to crystalprofit.com/Buzzsprout to check them out. Again, like I said, I've been using them since 2018 and I love all the features that they have. They are my people. I know the founders. I know so many people that work there and they are incredible and they have their hearts in it to help independent podcasters and creators. And I am just super stoked about these new features. So go check them out if you're already an existing Buzzsprout user. And if you're not, go try out their free plan. Go see what it's about. You won't be able to use some of the paid features that we talked about here today, but go check it out. They have so many cool tutorials, and I'll link to a bunch of their resources in the show notes. But that's all I have for you today. So I would love it if you would tag me, like take a screenshot of this episode, tag me, tag Buzzsprout on Instagram, and share in your stories like the coolest AI feature that you're seeing with Cohost AI or how this has helped you streamline your episodes, because I would love to hear from you. But as always, remember, keep it up. We all have to start somewhere. Hey, Profit Podcast listeners. Thanks for sticking around to a little bit after the episode to hear this special message, because I want to hear from you. We are starting a new segment called Fan Mail Shoutouts, and I want to hear from you, and I want to hear your questions. What do you want to know? What questions have you been dying to ask me? So here's how to make this happen. Go to the app where you're listening to this podcast right now. Go there. I'll wait a second. Okay. Now, once you're there, you're going to see a hyperlink at the top of the episode description that says, send Crystal a text message. And that's all I want you to do. Send me a text. It could be casual, informal. It could be totally anonymous. Or if you want, you can include your name and the name of your podcast or content wherever you are creating, and I will give you a special shout out in an upcoming episode. So again, go to the show notes for where you're listening to this episode right now, and it will say, send Crystal a text message. And I cannot wait to hear from you and give you a shout out in an upcoming segment of Fan Mail Shoutouts.